welcome to EmpathicFire. I'm your reader, Jay. This is going to be a special birthday reading for Aquarius. What's up, Aquarius? How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well, man. Alright, Aquarius, this is for your birthday period, running from January 21st through February 18th, so thank you for being here. I'm happy to see you. And if you're new to my channel, this is something I do for all the Zodiacs. I do it obviously once a month during the changes into the different Zodiac periods. So right now we're in Aquarius, so welcome. Let me see, anything else that goes with this reading? Not really. It's a little different. I shuffle a little bit differently. I meditate previously before cutting on the camera, so there you go. That's already done. And what I do now is I'll shuffle. What you'll see is there will be 6 different areas that I place the cards in, and each area has, or each spot has a different meaning or focus for the card. And so once they're all out, that's when the reading will begin. I will put a timestamp there, so when everything is laid out on the board and I'm ready to go, you can go ahead and click down in the description box if you want to skip ahead to that, because I will be shuffling on camera for the birthday readings. For the generals, I don't. And if you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back. That's always appreciated as well, okay? Let me just reconnect here with Aquarius. Aquarius, please. Yeah. Yeah. You want to shuffle? Or a bridge? Do a bridge. One bridge, I think. One bridge. In Aquarius, I apologize. I did your guys' January reading, and I was pretty much over this cold, but it came back with a fury, so I'm still residually sick. See, I'm doing more than one. I knew I would do more than one. So I apologize about that. I might have to stop the recording, kind of get a drink of water, clear my throat, and things like that, so I apologize ahead of time. Yes, okay, thank you. Alright, Aquarius, let's get it. Ooh, there you are. Alright. Can I get... Nope, it's a little further away than I thought it was. Hold on. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. Alright, so that's card number 1. And then we get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No bottom of the deck. For the birthday messages, we will do an oracle at the end, I believe. Yeah, we're going to do oracle at the end. Which one, though? That was kind of the conundrum during your meditation. Oh, I'm so congested. I hate it. I did take some medicine, so hopefully it kicks in soon. But, man, I don't like being congested at all. How's I look? Pretty okay? You might hear the wind outside. It's very windy today. So, I apologize if that interferes a little bit in the video, but you can't control Mother Nature, right? Alright, so let's go ahead and flip this remaining card. Wow. Okay. Now how we look on the screen. There you go. Alright, Aquarius, let's get into this for you guys. Alright, so for your first position, that's kind of where you're coming into the reading, or rather how you're coming into the reading. You might want to consider it sort of your, what you're aware of, what you might be sort of already familiar with, or for some of you it might be a past energy, okay? You might want to think of it that way. And you come in, by the way, this is the Spirit Within Tarot by Stephen Bright if you're interested. And you come in with your first position as the Hermit card. So what you're familiar with, what you've already experienced, is this very, like, solitary energy, right? You've got this silhouette on top of a mountain or a hillside, contemplative, reflective, being really, like, one with themselves and kind of getting to their, down to the core, okay? The Hermit is associated with Virgo, so there might be a Virgo of significance in your life, but that is not necessarily, it doesn't have to be that way. It's not a fact. More importantly, Aquarius, for this, I feel like some of you are lonely, or you're maybe trying to articulate not what makes you lonely, but is it true loneliness? You know what I mean? Like, Aquarius, I get the feeling You're around people, of course. You go to work, you have family, you have friends, all that stuff. But in those group moments, you still feel either isolated or ostracized. Not that people are making you feel this way, it's just something like resonating from within you. It's this like echo inside of you, like you're throwing your voice down a cave and it just bounces back. And there's some type of proverb. Oh, I wish I could remember. There's some type of proverb or something about an echo in a cave or something like that. And the voice that you hear back, you question whether it's your own voice. So there's some mystery, some discernment that you have to get to, or that you've been trying to get to, when it comes to, you know, what is echoing back at you from your internal space, what's echoing back at you from yourself. You know, in the middle of a party, in the middle of a social gathering, in the middle of, you know, a conference call at work, you're in this headspace, you're in this space right here with the Hermit, and you're feeling super, super reflective over maybe a certain event in your life or a certain issue in your life that comes back to you. I think in your January reading, there was that tinge or some hint of, or I'm trying to remember because I don't watch them back, but I think there was like this flavoring of recycling or going through cycles and coming back to something and kind of circling the drain in a way. And I get that feeling here too. It's like something is unresolved, something has yet to be clarified or totally comprehended, totally understood. And I think a lot of it has to do with yourself. And the lonely thing that I was mentioning before, it's not that you are lonely. I think that many of you, if not all of you, would be super satisfied with your friends, super satisfied with your family relationships. You feel fine in those ways. It's like a loneliness with the self. Like when you're by yourself or when you're in your own head, there's this like I said, like an echo in a cave. It's just you and your own voice, you and your own thoughts, you and your own emotions. And even when you try to express what you think or what you feel to other people, you're not hearing, not what you want to hear, but whatever other people are bringing to the table hasn't cleared this up or hasn't given you an understanding. Because the Hermit seeks some type of understanding and resolution of sorts to something that might seem immovable or something that might seem insurmountable. You know, he's on the top of this hillside, so he has summited to the top of this hillside or to the top of this mountain. The Hermit seeks to do that, wants to climb to the top, wants to get out of this rut or this darkness or this cave, right? And it's there it is. It's a lonely journey. Other people might seem to be able to get to their summit by doing something else. Like, oh, I saw my therapist, or, oh, I just sat down and I talked with her. This is other people telling you their life story or what's going on with them. Oh, I just sat down and I had a discussion with this person and we hashed it out. We came to an agreement, blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, that's not working for me. You know, you might have to talk to people. You might have to hash out, you know, disagreements with someone. And it's hashed out, but something in you still feels like, man, not that it didn't go your way, but you still feel a little like, I'm getting like a hollow thing. Like, I should be happy about this. The deal was made. We apologized. We hugged it out. We patched things up. We went our separate ways. Like, everything seems copacetic on the outside, but on the inside, Aquarius, there's something that is just like a little bit amiss. And it's a little bit, like, this Hermit, more than the others I've encountered in my different decks, really gives me this, like, lonely feeling. And I don't like the word lonely. I think it implies, like, depression and sadness, or, you know, like an Eeyore kind of, you know, Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh kind of thing. Like, even when you're around people, you can't find joy. I don't think that's what's going on with you. I think this type of loneliness is not an Eeyore thing. It's not like oh, what's the matter, Eeyore? well, poo, but you know, it's like, it's not like you're walking around with a cloud over your head. I think that you are actually getting along with people. You're doing your day to day things and you're doing them well and you feel accomplished, you feel good. But somewhere inside of you, deep, deep down, for some of you maybe, there is something that is having, there's like a certain discrepancy. What it's dealing with, what it revolves around, what it concerns, I can't tell you. But this is what you're this is what you're bringing in with you during your birthday period. You're very familiar with this. It seems to be carrying on because I feel like, excuse me, I feel like it's sort of like the foundation of things for many of you. I'm going to take a break because, as I told you, I have to clear my throat and my sinuses, and it's gross, and I don't like... don't get sick, guys. It's the worst. Alright, guys. Sorry about that. I feel a little bit better. Alright, so your second position is basically sort of what's in the core of you right now, what you might be considering as your present, or, you know, what needs to be addressed, what needs to be the focal point of your right now period, again, your birthday period. So, you have the Seven of Wands. Oh, are you, like, doing that weird... Yeah, you're doing that weird thing. Okay, there we go. Seven of Wands. It's a little bit of a trying thing, right? The silhouette there and the traditional... Oh, God, I hate when the camera gets like this. I'm gonna have to tool with these settings. Anyway, yeah, defensive, having to stand your ground, having to tell people where they can stick it. Some of you might go that route. But definitely wanting people to sort of back off, you know, which might be connected to your hermit energy. You know, I do still feel many of you are going out, if not practically all of you are going out. You're doing what you have to do, putting a smile on your face. Maybe you're feigning it, maybe you're having to fake it till you make it kind of energy for some of you, but I don't get the sense that this is, again, radiating out of you, this defensiveness, this having to stand your ground energy. I think this is more of like a, if people aren't, thank you, here we go. If people aren't bringing you anything constructive, anything interesting, anything entertaining, like you're kind of being a diva in that way. And I don't want to throw that word around too much either, but that's kind of what I feel. It's like, if you're not here to enlighten my life or enrich my life, or you're not here to help me, or you're not here to encourage me, you're not here to support me, you can go somewhere. Like, that's kind of what it feels like. So people who are bringing negativity towards you, people who are bringing unwanted or unnecessary or, like I said, not constructive criticisms, they can go somewhere. So this energy is reserved for people who are, I feel like, coming at you without any type of reasoning, or, you know, in some cases you might have like petty arguments. So this could be your energy, and this would be a sharp energy. The Seven of Wands would be sharp to handle a petty argument with someone or disagreement with someone that's petty. Like, this would be like, you know, someone might say, hey, Aquarius, like, calm down. You're like, no, I don't need to calm down. She's over here saying this, or he's over here doing that. No. And they're like, it was just a joke, or I don't think they were that serious. It's just like, well, I'm serious, you know? Sevens are challenging energies. They are very surmountable. They are able to be worked through, but it does take time, or there's sort of like this staunchness about the sevens. Like, 7 is a strong number, okay? I apologize. Oh God, I hate being sick. I hate it so much. Anyway. In other cases, like, this could be reactionary. I'm not going to say responsive. It's reactionary to if someone gets clued in on this and they're like trying to let me go back to the Hermit for a second. Just a second. The Hermit, like I said, is a solitary card. He's a solo energy, right? And it doesn't, I'm saying he simply because normally what's pictured with the Hermit is a male figure, but obviously it would apply to any person, any of you. Most likely many of you will be females who watch this. Anyway, the hermit goes at things by themselves. They don't necessarily want or need other people in their space, in this hermit space. You know, if I'm going to hear any voices in this cave, it's going to be mine, you know? And so I feel that the Seven of Wands, for some of you, will be defending your position as a hermit. So someone might question you, like, oh, you seem kind of contemplative, or, you know, you're quiet today, Aquarius. What's going on? Like, are you okay? And you might become defensive because subconsciously, whether you're, conscious or subconscious, it doesn't matter. You might be in this mode on a given day, right? It's a Thursday, whatever. You're at lunch and you're just by yourself sitting, and someone might catch a glimpse of you and they come over and say, hey, Aquarius, what's going on? Are you all right? And you might immediately, you know, put your defenses up, because the hermit, like I said, really doesn't need or want other people in his vicinity. This time, this energy is really about getting right with yourself, getting right with the core of yourself. And if people invade on that, impose on that, and some people might ask questions about it, you know, hey, you've been seeming like really introspective lately. Like your best friend might say this to you. And you'd be like, no, Brenda, I'm not, I'm fine. You know, so there's like this cutoff, I feel, or like a wall that you're putting up around certain times or certain situations where the hermit is more prevalent or obvious, and other people are picking up on it, and you're like, no, don't worry about that. You don't ask me about that, or you don't comment on that. I don't want criticisms about when I'm in this mood. So if it's not in the, or I should say, in the times when it's not associated with the hermit, again, I think you're just like generally not interested in frivolous things from other people. If they're coming to you, best friend, associate, your mom, I don't care who they are, you just want the quality of your interactions with people to be worth something. And, you know, brand new year, you know, we're kicking off 2019. You know, you're not the first sign. Capricorn is the first sign of the year, technically. But, you know, it's still that time of new year, new me, you know? So some of you might have resolutions to, you know, get away from people that you feel are negative or have negative influence or negative vibes about them. And they keep coming around. They're like some sea barnacle, and you're just like, get off my boat. And you're like scraping them off the side of your boat. You're like being very much protective of your own integrity, your own mental health, your own emotional health. And so there's like very little room for anything else around you. Okay? One more break. I need to get a drink. Oh gosh. All right, Aquarius. In your third position, which you might consider like how you're moving forward, what you might be looking forward to, what you might be expecting, what might be considered your future energy, all that kind of stuff. You have the Two of Wands. So a lot of fire energy. Let's note that. 1, 2, 3 positions of fire, a little bit of air. So you're definitely in a very driven energy, a very, you're in a mood to get shit done, basically, or to have things be of value, be of substance around you. Excuse me. And for your third position with the Two of Wands, that would be the same. You know, looking forward, this silhouette with that world ball globe thing right under his arm there, and looking out over the vista, looking out into the future, looking out into the expanse, right? Planning, obviously, for some of you, and more importantly, decision. You know, two wands there, two tent poles, basically. Two options, maybe, for some of you, specifically. If it's not as literal as choosing between two things, two options, it would be that idea of what's next? Where am I going next? What's my next move? What's my next leveling up in life? How am I going to accomplish my next goal? And feeling, I think this is I'm getting like a hopeful or wishful feeling from this is a lot of you feel you've done your work. A lot of you feel like you've done enough work, if not all of it, enough work to warrant a change, to warrant a new chapter in your life, a new chapter in your book of life, yeah? You're ready to turn pages, Aquarius. You really want something out of whatever you're coming away from. And a lot of times we get that way. New Year plus our birthday, or I'm saying our, but for you guys specifically, it's a new year, right? And your birthday comes shortly thereafter the new year, about a month after the new year. And so that definitely gives people anticipation of what's around the corner for them. What can they expect? What can they, shift their target towards? What can I look at as being the next great accomplishment in my life? There's a lot of, didn't I say hopeful? Did I say that? Wishful optimism. I do feel optimism here. So that's good, because if I'm honest, your hermit position, coming from your past, coming from what you've already dealt with, or what is residual and you're still kind of dealing with, but you're more than anything familiar with it. The hermit isn't necessarily hopeful. He's not optimistic. He's really just like this, like I said before, like circling the drain, like staring into your navel, that kind of energy, where you're kind of in a stasis, and you stay in stasis until something breaks through for you. Some of you haven't had that breakthrough. I'm going to say many of you haven't had that breakthrough. You're still trying to, like, maybe you're in the final hour of getting to the breakthrough, something like that. And this is like not the opposite in terms of the tarot. They're not opposites or anything, but there is an opposite type feeling where this is very secluded. This is very me, myself, and I. I have to think of myself and only me. And that is here too. In the Two of Wands, I'm thinking of me, but then I'm also thinking expansively, open. Hermit is closed in. Two of Wands is open, okay? So there's this progression, I feel. In the middle, you're standing your ground, you're defending yourself, you're making sure that your footing is correct, or you're denouncing any detractors who question what you're doing. You're like, stay out of it, Brian. This is none of your business. That kind of energy. And I like that. It's not like an easy progression if you want to look at it in a linear way. It's not easy to go from being sort of detached or secluded and perhaps lonely to being on your defensive, on your toes, beating back your haters or beating back your critics, to then being, all right, guys, or world, I'm ready. It's kind of a weird transition, but I think it makes total sense to you. I have Aquarius moon, so I kind of feel what this is. I think I kind of, I think I have an understanding of an Aquarius sometimes. We're opposites. I'm a Leo, you're Aquarius, we're opposites. So anything that is within you is also within your opposite, but it's through a different light, through a different lens. So this going from an inward space to a more outward space, even though the transition to get there might be a little trying, might come with a little bit of argumentation, might come with a little bit of a scuffle, or just, people being on your nerves, whatever it is, I get it. I get that transition, and I think you get it too. Yay! Fourth position. Oh no, I knocked you all over. I'm sorry. There we go. Your fourth position, Ace of Wands. So, well, yeah, duh. Let me explain what the fourth is. I'm like trying to interpret it before I explain what the fourth position is. I'm sorry. The fourth position is basically like what you might consider a gift, or something that comes to you that is beneficial and you didn't really expect it. You could have wished for it, you could have hoped for it, but you weren't sure it was coming in, so that's why it would be a gift. Ace of Wands. Well, like I said, that fire energy, it's getting your mojo back, getting your heart back. Heart as in your passion, your drive, your focus, your self-belief, your determination, okay? It's an opportunity to get yourself up off the couch, get yourself up out of bed, jump in the shower, brush your teeth, you know, put that spring back in your step. Get up and face every day and treat it like it's the first day of the rest of your life. Like all that cliched, you know, self-help talk, right? And I hate to like, you know, use it in those terms, but that's the quickest way to understand it. It's like having determination to face your challenges and succeed in the face of those challenges, okay? Sure. For some of you, why did I say it like that? For some of you, this is about a sexual thing. Not for many. I'm going to say for some of you. It is this, you know, maybe you were not feeling so frisky down here in your bottom row. Maybe you were disconnected from your partner or disconnected from the dating world, disconnected from your spouse. I don't know, but this would be the chance to get that back. And for those where that chance is there, I'm not sure that the sex part is what you're after. This is obviously a phallic symbol, right? And many tarot readers will talk about that. And a lot of times it's very, you know, lit. It's lit. Like, you're going to get it. Here, I'm just like, you could. But I don't know for you, Aquarius, that you want to. And it's not to say you don't want the relationship. It's not to say you don't want to date or get to know someone intimately. It's not to say that. It's more of like, it's not your priority. You would much rather find intimacy and passion in other ways with your partner than just getting in the bed and doing the horizontal mambo, right? Or vertical if you're feeling frisky, right? 1 second, let me go ahead and take care of my situation. All right, sorry again, Aquarius. I apologize so much because, I don't know, I hate being sick and I hate having to do this while I'm sick, but c'est la vie, right? Anyway, Ace of Wands. So yeah, for some of you, you don't really care about getting laid. It would be nice. Like, you're not going to be like, no, I don't want that. Or some of you might. Some of you be like, no, I don't want to connect with you in that way. Or I want to wait until we do that if you're dating. You don't want to take it to this level. Like, this passion, this getting back to this fiery, assured, confident feeling, you know, focused and in line with what you want, to me is more of like a spiritual thing right now. Not like necessarily spiritual as in like concerns about your spirit or concerns about your soul, like, you know, that kind of thing. Like some of you want to go out and try new things and maybe that's what you are doing or what you will be doing. Like, you go out, you try new things, and then you learn more about yourself through it. Does that make sense? Like, that's where the spiritual thing comes in. Like, even if it's something, like, quote-unquote, like, silly. Like, maybe you go out to one of those, like, eating in the dark restaurants. Are those still things? Do people still do that? Anyway, but maybe you've never done, your friends want to go, hey, let's go try this restaurant with the eating in the dark experience. It's supposed to be heightened sensory of the taste and blah, 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 blah. And you're like, that sounds stupid, but I'll give it a shot. And you want to somehow, through something you've never done before, a sports activity, you know, dating a certain person, reading a certain book, whatever you're doing, you want it to, like, sort of ignite something in you, give you your inspiration back, or be in line with your inspiration that you think you have. Like, there's this, like, trying to connect. Like, what I'm seeing is, like, and I'm not good at science, but it's like two halves of something trying to connect. And the connection needs to be, like, the connection needs to be electrical. But, or think of it that way, a circuit, right? Or how plugging in anything works. If you plug something into the wall, you're hoping that there's a connection. But if there's not, then you have to go down to the fuse box and you have to see if everything is connected there. And then if not, you call in this professional, if you're not a professional yourself, and you check all the lines, right? So that's what you're hoping for. If you plug this thing in, if I go to this restaurant, if I date this person, if I go read this book, if I go to this retreat, if I go to this concert, if I start this hobby, will it connect? You want that. And that's where, like, going back to the sex thing for some of you, it's not physical Brenda, it's not physical Phil, or whoever you're sleeping with. It's just like, no, I already know the sex part will be good, or I already know what I think our sex life will be like, or what it already has been. I need us to connect on a different level. That's what it is. I need a different, deeper, more authentic, in some cases, connection with you on an intimacy level. And like I said, going back to what I was previously talking about, if it's not a person, if it's not about a romantic relationship, it could just be also with your friends and your family. You need deeper, more authentic connections that inspire you or are aligned with your passions, aligned with your goals, which you're setting up here for the future. So, excuse me. And given that this consideration, this very deep consideration about your passions, about feeling ignited and sparked and ready for the world, it's connected here in your bottom rope with the Hermit and the Seven of Wands. So this Hermit might be looking for this, okay? And while you're looking, people are like, hey, you seem distracted. It's like, yeah, I'm distracted. So you're defending your fixation and your desire to get that Ace of Wands in your life, to find that connection, to find that spark. Other people are like, you seem to be spending a lot more time by yourself, or you seem to be, being really, some of you might be deep into your spirituality. Like every time you talk to someone, you're just like, oh, I'm reading about Taoism, and I'm reading up on Buddhism, and I decided to go to this yoga spa, and all this other stuff. And they're just like, dude, I just want to talk about the sports game. Let's talk about the sports, all the sports. I don't know. I myself am not a huge sports fan, but people could be like, I just want to have a casual conversation. You're just like, to hell with casual conversations, Carol. Life is bigger than a casual conversation. And that can be hard. Aquarius, I think you would be a deep person. I think you're probably the deepest of the air signs, if I'm honest. And that can be a tough role to play in this world where, people have shorter attention spans, people have this need for instant gratification, we have the memory of goldfish. It's just like hard when everything is boom, 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 now, and you're just like, nah, let's talk about like deep stuff. Let's get into like the roots of what's going on in our society, or what the roots of this relationship. Going back to that, for some of you, your partner might think, okay, we've kissed and made up, everything's cool, and you're like, no, now let's start going to couples therapy. And your partner might be like, what? We've only been dating like a year. You want to go to couples therapy? And you're like, yes, I do. And they're completely like not on board with that. That's like a very specific example. I'm not necessarily feeling that in your cards, but that's just to show the difference between what you might be feeling and how you might be behaving, Aquarius, and how other people around you are more like surface, casual. And you're like, nah, I'm not casual. I'm not in that casual mood. Okay? Excuse me. Your fifth position online with Ace of Wands, similar. It's another wish, or what you might be hoping for, what you might be sort of expecting, but it kind of comes to you and is more like a gift than a wish, right? Like you can ask, but it might not come. Okay? Ace of Swords. Well, very much in line. Another opportunity, and this is more your wheelhouse because you are an air sign and the swords correspond to the air element. Talk. A lot of talking here. More phallic. So again, ooh, is that it? Because I'm immediately jumping to that. So remember how I said how this is obviously a phallic symbol. Ace of Swords is also considered a phallic symbol, right? But with them together, I think some of you are really wanting to talk about what sex means in your relationship, how you view it, how your partner views it, or partners if you're in one of those open relationships or poly relationships. And there is just honesty that you want to have regarding intimacy, if not dating anyone seriously, just for yourself. What does it mean for me if I date, but I don't want to have sex for like a month? Does that make me weird? Like some of you might be having like that contemplative conversation, you know, that could be what's echoing for you back with the hermit. Am I weird for not wanting to have sex, you know? Or am I weird for wanting to have sex all the time, you know, whatever your situation is. So whether you're partnered or not, there is some conversation and honesty that you might need to or want to have regarding sex and intimacy in your life, how it ranks, how important it is, what impact does it have for you, how do you view it. Like some people in this world equate sex to love, and other people are like, those two things are mutually exclusive. I can bone 50 people today and love none of them, okay? So wherever you fall in that spectrum is something I think some of you will want to get to the bottom of. Or you are... Because again, look where it falls. It falls on the Seven of Wands and your Two of Wands. So in case of the Seven of Wands, you're defensive or you're protective of your opinion of your own sex life or your own stance and approach to relationships. You feel very, 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 very resolute that what you feel is valid for you. So if you want to bone everybody you meet on the first date, that's who you are, that's what you want to do, that's what you feel, you want to defend that. If you are waiting till marriage, you know, and then even after marriage you're not sure about consummating, you might be, some of you, and it is a valid sexuality, asexuality is a valid thing in my opinion, so some of you might be coming to terms with that. You have a varied degree, or you're somehow in that realm, okay, of asexuality. I want a partnership, I want intimacy, I just don't want I don't want intercourse. Some people are like that. And in many societies, if not, and predominantly the Western world, that's sort of stigmatized a lot of times. You don't, so you must be frigid. You must have ED if you're a man. You must not be able to get it up if you're a guy. You must have poor self-image and low self-esteem that you don't want to get naked with anybody, even if it's in the middle of the dark, or in the dark. You know, so you just become criticized. Why don't you want to have sex? You've been dating him for 4 months, like you guys still haven't done it, and you're like, yeah. Or you could be the guy getting that flack. Dude, you've been with her for this long and you still haven't, you know, you know how guys can sometimes talk, you know, and that is frustrating, or that would definitely put a lot of people on edge if you're in your 20s or 30s and, you know, your friends are looking at you like you've got 5 heads. It's like, no, I'm not really interested in having sex. That blows people's minds. And you might be sort of, in a weird way, having to have these conversations with people, and you have a deeper perspective to keep on this angle of sex and sexuality. You have a great understanding because you've researched it, you've lived it, you talk with other people who are in similar situations, if we're talking the asexual route, or any other route, really. And you understand yourself, Aquarius. And so when your friends are like, so you don't, like, want to just do anything? And you're just like, yes, like, what don't you understand? I've talked to you about this before. Or don't you just know the basic meaning of asexuality? Some of you might be frustrated, or bisexuality, or homosexuality, or whatever you're doing. Polyamory, like I said, for some of you might be in a poly relationship, and you're having to explain to other people what it means, and they're kind of like, but don't you already know? Like, don't you already kind of get the gist of what that means? Like, Google it, pick up a book, do whatever. So, oh my God, I think I was saying this in your January reading. Like, feeling like people come to you with questions and comments, and they haven't really vetted the discussion or the conversation topic. They haven't done their research, and you're kind of like, look, I've been doing all this work here. I have been reviewing this. I have been researching. I have been debating. I have done all my work on me so that I have this understanding of myself. Then I have to come out into the world with my friends, with my family, with strangers, and be given questions and criticisms that, again, are very surface. Like, if you just Google this, you would understand that the asexual community or the poly community does this, this, and this. Like, just generally speaking, many of us go with that. Whatever you're talking about. You know, does that make sense? This took a very long turn into the sex realm for some of you. So let me try and get away from that. Because this is about honesty, it could also be like you are having, finally, full-on honest conversations with people where you, previous to this point with the two aces, previous to this, you were kind of like in a loading phase. Like, they're showing me like old school Microsoft, like that loading hourglass that would spin and spin and spin while it was loading something, opening a document, closing a document, whatever. Just like, just a minute. And I think on Macs, or Apples as they are called now, I think it was like a little watch, right? A little wristwatch. Anyway, so now that you've gone through your processing phase, you're ready to go out and speak and act. Because that's what these two are. Action, speaking. Putting action behind your words, putting words to your actions. However you want to think of it. And excuse me. The aces are also very foundational, right? The starting point, the seedlings, the things that you put into the ground and you wait and you wait and you wait for them to bloom. Or not wait, but over time they will bloom, yeah? So this could be like a whole new you, I feel, Aquarius. Or a different version of you. Maybe not a whole new you, but like the update. Maybe that's what the loading screen was about. Maybe that's what the Hermit's doing. He's giving you an upgrade. You're about to become Aquarius 2.0 out here. And when you become Aquarius 2.0, you have to act in new ways and you have to speak in new ways. And I think that these two are like so important to you right now. Acting truthfully, acting in your authenticity, speaking honestly, speaking authentic points, not wanting to have frivolous anything. None of it. Nothing can be frivolous. These aces are serious for you. They mean a lot. I'm into it. I'm totally into it. Alright, I'm going to pause one more time. Hopefully the last time. And then we're going to get to the top. 1 second. Alright, Aquarius. Position 6. This is like... yeah. Like, this structure sort of kind of mimics a cake. Sort of. And what do we put at the top of the cake? We put a candle up there. And what do you do with a candle? You wish on a candle. You hope, like, your deepest wish, you know. When you're a kid, I want a brand new bicycle. I want the latest video game. You know, just like what you whisper to yourself at night. Or, like I said, when you're blowing out a candle on your cake. So, different than these. These are different types of wishes or gifts. This one is something that you're basically asking the universe, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, for. And yeah, it's like I'm getting like a lot of projection from you in this reading. So this is like, ooh. This is going to be so hard to explain, but I think I can sort of explain it sort of like a firework. If, let's say this is like your ignition point, or where you can see like the fireworks streaming up into the air at a fireworks display, right? You see it just before it explodes. So it's like this faint thing. It kind of swivels up into the sky and then boom. This is all the boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a lot of sparkle, a lot of like explosive energy. Some of you might feel super explosive right now. But anyway, at the top of your cake, on top of your structure here, is this Queen of Swords energy. Oh, don't do that. There you go, a little bit better. So, wow, greater understanding. Like, this Queen of Swords is one of my favorites. Because I think this shows the Queen of Swords for what she really is. You know, in the traditional tarot, she's holding... I hate that it's not focused. I hate that these settings have messed up. Oh, you're the worst. There you go. So, in the traditional Rider-Waite deck and other decks, you'll usually see the Queen holding the sword, which is on the far side of the card there, right? But in this deck, it's at rest. She's not out there wanting to wield her sword. Like, the highest level of the Queen of Swords is like this, I feel. She doesn't want to wield that sword. She's actually more interested in bettering herself or you know, I think okay. Little tarot lesson, right? You got the page, knight, queen, the king, right? Succession, hierarchy, right? We move from the page up to the knight, up to the queen, up to the king. And they all work in that ascending order, right? I usually feel that the queens are the queens and they're happy to be the queens. In this deck, in this instance, I feel this queen is doing homework and studying up and getting herself ready because she wants to become the King of Swords. Now, what that means to you personally, hopefully it resonates in some way, but what I'm getting, it's not about changing position per se. It's about development, self-development, getting to the actual tippy top of mastery of self, mastery of your mind specifically, if we talk about swords, right? And getting clear in all of that and having clear self-awareness, clear self-understanding, being able to articulate what you think, what you feel, and why, and where, and who, and all that kind of stuff. Being able to not debate, but discuss why you feel what you feel, why you think what you think, and allowing your words to sort of demonstrate or draw a complete picture of yourself. There's something about communicating here, right? This, like, I'm getting like this is like a law library for some of you, or just a library in general, and you're studying because you're going to make a case, because you're going to, perhaps some of you, give a speech or draw up a proposal, or something is going to be enacted. And once you speak it, once you perform it, once you give the presentation, whatever this is, in a formal setting, in a professional setting, or in an informal, whatever, personal setting, whenever this case is made, whenever this performance or presentation is made, you will then, hopefully, in your mind, Aquarius, get to that King of Swords space. Because, like I said, tarot says that these are hierarchies. 1, 2, 3, 4. Page, knight, king, queen. The king is the highest in the minor arcana. He's the highest in all the suits. So, Aquarius, you're kind of like, why would I want to be the queen? No offense to the Queen of Swords and what she does for you, what she's provided you with thus far. But you're like, I'm trying to be the king out here. Male, female, all those gender politics do not matter. It's really about being able to say, I've mastered it. I've reached the pinnacle point of this. I have exceeded my own expectations. I've done the damn thing. And if I'm honest, I think most of you, this is like about self-development. This is about awareness of self. It's not much to do with other people. It's not much to do, or rather, it's not much to do with your position in a company, per se, or your position in any type of relationship, romantic or otherwise. It's really about, I need to be able to be who I am, say who I am, and mean that shit. Have the proof to back it up. I've come from here to here to here to here to here. You know, you want to, like, you're drawing up a diagram, a timeline in some cases. Not like you're actually doing this, but like you might be doing this internally in your mind. And you're like, this timeline says I need to upgrade. This timeline says it's time for me to level up. I'm already here. Let me get to the next. So as much as this is like at the top of your structure, at the top of your cake, this is what's coming down for you from the universe, I think you're already like, okay, thank you, but I'm on to the next. So, and that's kind of making sense to me. Again, if this is like your firework beginning, and then this is like the, you know, explosion of that, with all the beautiful colors and the boom of the explosion, that makes sense. It's like a growing, big time growth, big time expansion. I wish I could remember more about your January reading, because I feel like this kind of overlaps. If you haven't watched that, go ahead and check that out. It's in your playlist under Aquarius for 2019. And yeah, that's going to be your main reading. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab this other deck for you, and we're going to give you an oracle card, because that's what I do with the birthday readings. And I normally have to read from a book, so God, who knows how that's going to go. This is the magic, what is it called? Yeah, magical spell cards. Magical spell cards by Lucy Cavendish, I believe. Yep, I remembered. So let's get you an oracle for your birthday month. Ooh, just two. That feels good. Let's see, we grew together. All right, Aquarius, let's see what comes up for you. Ooh. There it is. Ooh. All right. Safe home. I cast the circle round about. Safety now is beyond doubt. Ooh. Has that what's been at the core for some of you? Safety. Number 39, you add those together, that's a 12. You add that together, that's a 3. For those who are interested in the numerical part of it. And 3s are about planning, plotting, all that good stuff. All right, let's find 39 in the book for you, because I don't use, you know, a lot of my oracle cards, especially in the general readings. I don't use them. In personals, I'll use them. And this guy has never come up for me, so let's read about it together, shall we? And God, bear with me, please, as I read this while my nose is like half stopped up. Having a safe home makes us feel secure and cocooned amidst the wildness of the world. It creates a nest to which we can fly and settle into, in order to revive ourselves, nurture our loved ones, and be free. A happy, safe, and secure home lights up our life and enriches our relationships. Treasure and love your home with this protection spell. If you were chosen by this spell, the universe is asking for you to take good care of the beloved safe space that you call your home, to make it an oasis, to treasure the small and personal. Perhaps it is time to take the emphasis off the outside world and turn the energy we often spend on work or external places to our own environment. Cast this spell and become aware of the nurturing, healing magic of a safe, enchanted, and loving home. Nice. So I haven't seen a lot of that in your reading as far as like specifically talking about home, because to me, we would have seen a little bit more earth energy. But if you consider yourself, your body, your temple, as we sometimes call it, as your home, I mean, the place that your soul lives in, because I think we talked about that here. soul, spiritual concerns. So maybe your physical body and having this sort of internal reflection thing going on, that could be sort of overlapping here with the safe home oracle card that you got. And if not, some of you might find you do have a disruptive home environment. You might have a cluttered home. You might have too many people living in your home. You might not have enough furniture. You know, you might have a very sparse space. Maybe you've just moved in, but you haven't unpacked anything. So you might want to take care of, as the oracle as the oracle oh my God, I cannot talk. As the oracle card suggests, you might want to take time into enlivening and enriching your home space, putting up decorations, getting the laundry done, vacuuming the floors, cleaning the dishes, kicking out people who aren't paying rent, appreciating people who are paying rent. Maybe you have some dissension with the people that you live with. Maybe there's been, some kind of rough argumentative times, and you kind of want to put peace into those relationships, or seek peace with those relationships, okay? All right, Aquarius, that is your reading for your birthday period. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, there's a like button down below. Also, you can comment on the video. You can share it with your other Aquarian friends, or share it with people so that they can understand your position as an Aquarius, whatever you want to do. And if you're new here and you're not subscribed, that would be awesome. If you want to become a subscriber, I would appreciate it. If you're a returning viewer and you're not subscribed, how come? Why? Don't you like me? But yeah, if anybody wants to subscribe and they aren't already subscribed, I would appreciate it. If you don't, I totally understand. I accept that as well. And for this particular reading, Aquarius, I will see you in a year. It'll be here before you know it. I'll see you again in January 2020 when I come back and do your birthday reading for that time, okay? I thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. Bye.